I wanted to show you another way of using macros. This one's a little bit more advanced. Excel has what are called advanced filters. In other words, what you have to do is you have to set up your database in order to use this advanced filter option, meaning that I have my database over here. Okay, everything about houses, the address, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, list price, and so on. Over here I've created a mini criteria database. All it consists of is just all the labels, the column labels that I see over here with the same formatting, with an extra row down below where I can actually set my criteria to what I want to filter out over in this database over here. And the whole purpose of this is that anytime I type in some numbers over here, it'll filter this and give me the exact results either within the same place or maybe over here, so I can still have my database untouched and unfiltered. For example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click anywhere within my database first after I created it, come up and click on the Data tab, to the Sort and Filter group, and click on the Advanced Filter option. It's going to ask me a couple questions. First of all, it says, look, what is the list range, your database? Because my database was built correctly and I've got my row header here defined with the labels for each column, it was actually able to depict the database and select it for me. So I don't have to select it. If I had to, I click on the Collapse dialog box button, click and drag to select my database, hit enter on the keyboard, and there's my range. Now it's looking for the criteria range. Remember, it's my mini database over here, so I'll click the Collapse dialog box button, I'll click and drag, I'll go over till I get both rows, my column headers, with the row below it that's blank, so I can go ahead and set the criteria. If I set criteria for the bedrooms, it's going to go over here in my advanced filter and match the column labels bedroom to bedroom and actually go through and find one that has the number 3. That's why it's important you actually type the same text as you have with your labels over in your database over in your mini criteria database, so it knows and it can match and compare to know what column to look in. Okay, let me expand that, or you can hit enter on the keyboard. Now I could filter my results in place here, in place of the database. I don't want to do that. I want to copy it to another location. What's that location? How about if I just put it, let me click and drag that out of the way, just somewhere below my database right here. So I'm just going to say, look, the results from my criteria of what I'm filtering out here are going to end up here. Expand that and then click OK. So this advanced filter right now is pretty cool because, again, what it's doing is it's saying, look, I want to find a house that has 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. So far there's only 2 of them, and it returned those results here. Okay, that's what the advanced filter does. Now what I would have to do if I wanted to use this again is click and drag and select this and delete it, right? And then come back into my database, go ahead and click on Advanced Filter. Now it remembers the steps that I have, so it filled those in for me, except I have to go back to copy to another location. Of course, when I select copy, it remembered that it was I6, and then just go ahead and click OK. Of course, that means that I'd have to change my bedrooms. Let's see if we can find a 2-bedroom, hit enter, and then try it again. Now you see, if I keep repeating those steps over and over again, that gets annoying. How about if I just go ahead and record it once into a macro and turn it into a button? So all I have to do is click on the button, and anytime I update my criteria, hit the button, it'll automatically give me the results over here. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We click somewhere in our database here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the record button. We're going to call this the filter macro. Go ahead and click OK. Now it's going to watch everything that I do. So I'm somewhere in the database. In fact, I'll actually click within the database, A3, come up here to the data group again, sort filter, click on the advanced button. And what I want to do is I want it to record all my steps here, what I'm doing. So I'll click the Collapse dialog box button, click and drag, select my database, expand it, and the criteria range, I'll collapse that, and I'll click and drag and select my criteria range here. Okay, expand it. And then I want to copy it to another location. Again, I'm doing this, even though it's already there, I'm doing this so it can actually record my steps. And I'll click in this cell, I6. I'll expand it. Then I'll click OK. I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Stop button. Now I have my macro recorded. So what if I go ahead and I say I want a 1-bedroom and hit enter, and I say, well, let's do 1.5 baths for 1-bedroom, okay? Well, to run my macro, first of all, I want to clear this out. I got to delete it, okay? Click somewhere here. Let me go to my View tab, to my macros. There it is, filter, click run. Boom, automatically does it for me. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a lot faster now, but the problem I run into now, I want it more automated than just that macro, is that I have to keep selecting this and deleting it, because if I run my macro and this is already there, it starts getting messy. Trust me on this. So what I want to do is I want to be able to create another macro that will automatically clear this for me. And then what I'll do is I'll actually turn those 2 macros into buttons, one that will filter and one that will clear. So first of all, I need a clear macro, okay? So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the record button down here, and we'll call this clear. Okay, click OK. Now, the clear macro says that I have to be in cell I6. There we go, I6. Now, if I made a mistake, not a big deal because it's so fast. When I run the macro, it's not going to matter that I accidentally clicked in I7. And I want to click and drag and select this range here over to P6. Now, how much do I have in my database? I have about 25 rows, okay? So if I, for some reason, picked an address that included all 24, actually there's 24, it doesn't include the header row here, all 24 listings, I want to be able to make sure that when I select this range, it includes at least 24 rows, okay? In fact, if I go down far enough, that's 24. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit delete on the keyboard. It'll record that, and then just go ahead and click stop. So now I have two of them, two macros going. So let me go ahead and run the macro here. Let's in fact change this up a bit. So 3 bedrooms with 3 baths, and hit enter, and let's go ahead and run the macro. Macro, let's do the filter run. Now let's go macros, let's do the filter clear and click run. It gets rid of it. It actually recorded me after I deleted it with that selection still. I could re-record it, and after I'm done selecting and I clear it, just click off in a blank area. So what I want to do now is take this one step further. I want 2 buttons, so I don't have to keep coming up here and click on the macros drop down arrow. I don't want the buttons up in the quick access toolbar, which we already know how to do in the previous training video. I want to put the buttons within the actual spreadsheet here. To do that, I want to click on the Developer tab. And again, you want to watch the previous training videos on macros to show you how to bring up the Developer tab. Once you bring it up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the Controls group and click on the Insert drop-down arrow and click on the Forms button here. Click on that. What I'm going to do is click and drag a button right here and let go. As soon as I do that and I let go, it pops up and it says, look, do you want to assign this button to a macro? Sure, I'll go ahead and say it's the Filter macro, and then click OK. And then this button, it still has its fuzzy border on it. It means it's still in edit mode. I can click and drag within here and call it my filter button, okay? And then click off in a blank area. Now when I click on that button, it's actually going to perform the filter. If I made a mistake and I no longer wanted this to be called filter, I could right click on it because I don't want to click on it. If I click on it, it'll activate that macro. And then I can go ahead and after I right click on it, I get the fuzzy border. I can click again a couple of times and then be able to get within inside that button and then go ahead and change it and delete it. But I'm fine with it. Let me click off in a blank area. Let's do that again, only this time we need a clear button. So I'll click on the drop down arrow. Let's do form button. Get my little plus sign here, click and drag, let go, and we'll assign this to the clear. Click OK. Click and drag within the button. In fact, if I wanted to, come up on the Home tab. I can change the font here if I wanted to. Maybe make it bigger or smaller, size 9, even size 8. And then call it my clear, and then click off in a blank area. So there's filter, clear, filter, clear. And in fact, if I come over here and watch how quick I can be on this, I can say, how about we want a 5-bedroom with 5 baths? Filter. Do we actually have 5 bedrooms with 5 baths here? Nope, it's only 4, so it'll return nothing. So I can go ahead and click clear. Let's try this again. Let's do 6 bedrooms, enter, filter, boom, it pulls it up. So just the advanced filter by itself, again, it's on the data tab. The advanced filter, it's not as helpful until I actually apply a macro to it and speed up the process of filtering the data I'd like to see over here. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.